It's Physical Geology, Introduction to Metamorphic Rocks. Hopefully it'll give you some ideas on how to identify metamorphic rocks. So you should have a chart that looks very similar to this. Notice on the far left it says texture. That's the first thing you should be looking at as far as metamorphic rocks. There are two major choices for texture. Is it foliated or is it non-foliated? The first thing you want to know is whether or not it's foliated or not. So take a look at these particular rocks and you'll see that there are some are foliated, which means that they have an alignment of minerals. In fact, these rocks, this rock right here, that foliation, can you see that alignment of minerals here? And this one, definitely, you can see it looks like stripes here. That's a foliation. And foliation not meaning these minerals are not being deposited this way. Through compaction and compression from heat and pressure, these minerals are actually getting aligned together due to the pressure. So you can see right here that if this particular rock was being aligned or foliated, that there was pressure coming from from where my fingers are, kind of pressing it together and aligning these minerals in this manner here. So that's what foliation is. These particular rocks are not foliated. You can see that there's no striping going on in these at all. They look like one, just one hunk of rock. And I'll be able to identify those as well here in a minute. But first, let's take a look at the first type of foliation. This is called slaty foliation, and the name of the rock is slate. So you can take a look at this slaty foliation. It's the least foliated, which means that these two particular rocks are have the least amount of heat and pressure enacted on them. You can see the heat and pressure the pressure probably came from the direction of my fingers, pushing down on it and creating this foliation on the side. You cannot see the foliation on the top or on the bottom, just on the side. So it's called slaty foliation. We don't have any phylitic foliation, but if we did, it would show the same thing as this, except the top and bottom would be wavy with just a little bit of sparkly to it to show some mica, just being able to just come out. The next one we do have, though, is schisty foliation, and this is literally the mica is coming out at this point. You can see how sparkly it is. This is the mica coming out. A lot of schist, the name of the rock is also schist, and there's different types of schist you can see here. This one's very dark. It's called a hornblende schist. This is your run-of-the-mill quartz schist. There's a lot of quartz in there. And this one is called a garnet schist because there's a lot of garnet. In fact, most minerals, most garnets come from this particular rock, this schist rock, and some garnets can be really large. You can even find some of this stuff up in Fairbanks. And the last type of foliation is called gneissic, and it starts with a G, and it's pronounced gneissic. And the name of the rock is also called gneiss. It makes your memory, it makes it a lot easier to remember. So, and this is also, to people who don't know that it's called gneiss, it's also called zebra rock because it can go white, black, and it kind of looks like a zebra. And that's got a lot of hornblende in it. The black that you're looking at is hornblende, and the white is quartz. So those are the foliated metamorphic rocks. And if you come over here to this chart, you can see the foliated. We basically went over slate, phyllite, schist, and gneiss. And the beauty of this is it tells you already, once you get the texture and what type of foliation it is, then you've got the rock name, slate, phyllite, and where it came from, whether it's a low grade, that means least metamorphosed, to the high grade, most metamorphosed, to the type of metamorphism, the type of minerals that might be in that particular rock. Okay. And your particular chart might also show what type of right here, this also shows what type of rock it was metamorphosed from. So the slate was metamorphosed probably from shale, okay, and phyllite and schist and gneiss. So it gives you an idea there. Okay, let's take a look at the non-foliated metamorphic rocks. So by looking at these, and we've got 3 samples here, and they're all non-foliated. They look like chunks of rock. and let's take a look and see if we can figure out what they are. Hornfells are not in this particular sample, but they will look like basically a plain gray rock, and I believe you should have that in your sample kit, but they're a plain gray rock that's non-foliated as well. Quartzite is this one right here, and this quartzite is actually metamorphosed from sandstone. And this is how you tell that this is from sandstone. If you look at this, you're going to have to use your loupe at this point. If you look at this very closely, you can see that you can see the smushed, the description of this particular texture, I call it smushed sand grains. It almost looks like somebody took a thumb and literally like pushed sand grains into it, and you can see this little right here. Can you guys see my thumb's in the way, my finger's in the way here? That pushed material right there, right here. It's inconsistent, but there's a white and pink, and sometimes pink, sometimes different colors. But you can see that it kind of looks like it's called a sandy texture, even though it's metamorphic rock. It's a sandy texture. Now that's different from this particular rock, and this particular rock can come in white or pink, and this is called a crystalline texture. And check this out, and it's got more of a, you've got crystals, but they are not smushed like the other ones were. And this is white, so it's really not very easy to come on camera here. But you can see it looks more like little crystals that have been broken up. Okay? So this is marble, and the marble is metamorphosed from different types of limestone. So if I were to scratch, this is another thing you can do, if I were to scratch this and then put hydrochloric acid on it, it's metamorphosed limestone, so therefore it will, when scratched, it will react with the hydrochloric acid just like the calcite did, because that's what this stuff is made up of, is the calcite. Versus coming back to here, you can see that it looks different. So check out these three rocks and see if you can see the difference in the texture here. So this is more crystalline, and this is crystalline. Both of these are both marble, just different colors. And this has got, it's a more dull, I would call it. You can see that this is sparkly and sparkly, and on the camera this is not so sparkly. Those are some samples of metamorphic rocks.